Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another gold making video. Today, this is going to be another big guide on how to improve your gold making flow, whether that is with the different classes, add-ons, and items. So we are going to be discussing how you can improve your gold per hour, as well as your nodes per hour, whatever, and how to actually just increase your daily gold making by incorporating some of these add-ons as well as these items into your farm, and we're going to go over a quick summary of classes. This is going to be directed towards more of the newer people who are just getting into gold making and they kind of want to know like, oh, what add-on should I download? What do I need to actually start farming? Stuff like that. So if you are more of an experienced player, this might not be for you. However, there may be some add-ons that you have not seen before that might help you out. So the first little subject that we're going to talk about right now are different classes. Now, I would say there are about 3 main classes that are really good for gold making. Now, of course, the first one is a druid. Now, the reason for this is because druids have so many different travel forms. They have their normal travel form, they have cat form, which still gives them a movement speed, they have ranged abilities, they have AoEs, and they are just the perfect class for farming. Now, these are good for running dungeons because you can be in cat mode and you can get a 30% increase in speed, as well as AoEing and stuff like that. They are also good for mining and herbalism because you will not have to remount every single time. If you are mining herbs, you will never have to mount up, and after mining, it is an instant mount up since it's just your travel form, and that saves you a ton of time. And just in general, this is the most versatile class. As you can see, I actually have 2 of them, just because I have one that's a Skinner, and then I have a miner in herbalism. So this is definitely a class that you need to get. It does not have to be your main. I do not main a druid. However, I do make sure to level them up for the new expansion, so I can utilize them whenever I need to. Now, the second class we're going to be talking about is the monk, which the monk is actually my main. However, that is just because I like this class the best, not for gold making. So, the reason why the monk is so good, it specializes in its statue, which the tank spec has. This statue will basically grab aggro of all the nearby mobs and animals or characters or whatever, and will pull them and basically will act as a character and grab all the aggro. Now, this is really good for 2x4 farms or just group farms in general. For example, you would have 1 monk and 7 druids, or 1 monk and 4 druids, depending on what you're doing. And basically, the monk's job is just to keep a statue down, and it'll keep grabbing the aggro as the druids kill everything. So, yes, the monk is not as necessary because it's not as good as a soloable character. Yes, it does have some movement speed, it does have some abilities that will help you travel faster. However, it is mostly used for 2x4 farming and group farming, so this is definitely another class you should have just in case this is needed. Now, the third class is pretty optional. It is a rogue. Now, the good thing about rogue is in certain transmog dungeons, there are chests which are locked. And so to open these, you will either need to be a rogue, or you will need to have a profession which gives you the ability to unlock chests. For example, jewelry crafting has the keys, inscription has the scrolls, stuff like that. So, just in case you're a druid, let's say you have a druid which is herbalism and mining, so you cannot actually use the keys or anything because you don't have a profession to actually unlock the boxes, then it might be worth to run the dungeon with the actual rogue itself, so you don't have to worry about that. I strictly use my rogue just to run transmog dungeons, specifically Razorfin Downs, for the chest. So this is definitely not really necessary. Definitely if you have multiple druids or other characters who have inscription, jewelry crafting, etc., then the goblin's perk kind of gets useless. However, just in an overall gold making standpoint, they do give a bonus for reputation. So for example, Penumbra thread as well as nylon thread. You can buy it at the automatically discounted price and you do not have to hit Exalted. So if you are into vendor shuffles or crafting or anything like that, a rogue also might be worth picking up so you can get those discounted vendor prices without having to grind the rep. So those are my 3 class recommendations for gold making. Alright, so now we are going to be discussing add-ons, and these add-ons are specifically for gold making. So I will not be covering my bar add-ons or how I make my map look like this or how I move stuff around my screen. I will strictly just be talking about what I use personally for gold making. So to get the obvious ones out of the way, I'm not going to talk much about these, but of course we have TSM. Now, TSM is basically, I would call the ultimate gold making add-on. It helps track your data and it becomes basically a database so you can see how much you're spending, how much you're making, and it gives you these tooltips which allow you to see market values, what's selling right now, how many there are, etc. Now, the good thing about this is you can customize, you can create different groups and operations on how to craft things. You can track your gold. You can create mailing operations, sending over stuff, crafting, everything. So definitely you need TSM, and some of these add-ons that we'll be discussing needs TSM to work. So definitely pick this add-on up and look into it if you're strictly new to gold making. Now the second, which is a pretty popular one still, is Loot Appraiser. Now, what a Loot Appraiser does is that if you type /LA, it will start a session. Now, it will tell you where you are, how long you've been farming, your current looted item value, how much gold you have actually looted, how many items you have, and how many big items, let's say, there are. Now, this is mostly used during transmog farming. That's how I use it. Basically, you let this run in the corner of your screen, and every time you pick something up, then the item will appear and it will give you a value. Now, in the actual settings itself, you can change what your price source is. Once again, this uses TSM, and I use market average value. And then you can pick what exactly the item can be. So, for example, common items will not show up, and then you can pick how much the item has to be worth to give you a notification. So yeah, Loot Appraisers is really good because you can track your session, how much you're farming, how much you've looted, how long you've been farming, and it allows you to basically just be a tracker for your gold. Now, an extra bonus for this is that it has a automatic reset instances. So instead of right-clicking and hitting reset all instances, blah, 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 you just automatically click this button and it'll reset it. Now, the part 2 of Loot Appraiser is there's Loot Appraiser Challenge, which is the multiplayer version, basically, of it. You will be able to add anybody on your BattleNet, and you can host a challenge, and then you invite everybody, and basically, you can compete for the highest gold per hour. So you can set it to be a 60 minutes, and you guys can all run the same dungeon, and then you can basically compare and see who got the best gear. So yeah, that is Loot Appraiser. Now the third one is a quick mention, and it is Gathermate 2. Now Gathermate 2 is a database for herbs, fishing, and mining, and treasure within Azeroth. Now, basically, you can get it to show up on your map. For example, if you hit M, I can see that I have all the nodes on my map, and I can see this basically anywhere I pick. So you can edit this by choosing to only have certain things show. For example, for mining, if you only want to see platinum, you can select none and have it only show platinum, and it has every single ore that you can get in the game. So this helps you find routes and everything. About that, for example, for Silithus, it is very easy to see that you just want to do a circle around the outside because that's where all the ore is. So that's Gathermate. However, it is mostly used for a database for the next add-on. So the next add-on is FarmHUD. Now what FarmHUD does is it creates a button on your map, which if you click on it, your map basically is in the center of your screen. Now, I'll show you guys in a second whenever we get to nodes. But as you can see on my screen, I can see the nodes, and once they get into the green bubble, that is basically my line of sight, and it will either turn yellow or an open circle. The open circle means that the node is not there. And whenever it does show up yellow, that means that there is actually something there. Now, the good thing about this is that you don't have to constantly be on your map, and you don't have to constantly look down at wherever your minimap is. It puts it in the middle of the screen. Also, it basically blows up everything to be in size, and you can kind of see where you need to go. As you can see in the distance, you can see the different deposits, and so that's where I basically need to head to go, and I don't have to worry about looking down. For example, right here, it says that I have a vein, and I just follow it, and there it is. It's that simple. I use this anytime I am gathering because I basically just look at my character and fly around, and whenever a node pops up, just like this, then I know exactly where to go, and I'm not staring at the bottom of my screen, I'm not missing anything, and yeah. So definitely, if you want to start gathering, make sure you use FarmHUD in order to increase your productivity. So the next add-on we're going to be talking about is Bagnon. Now what Bagnon does is basically creates your bags into one big spot. It combines them and makes them one big bag instead of multiple bags. Now the good thing about this is that you are allowed to organize them however you want. So you can move things around, you can hit clean up and it will automatically sort them. You can also hide a bag, for example, if you don't want that one to show or you don't want this one to show. And it's basically just makes everything look nicer. Now, of course, if you do like to use your bags for certain things and you like to keep them separated, then maybe this add-on isn't for you. However, I think it really helps because it basically turns all of that UI clutter just into one simple frame. Now, the bonuses with this is that there are sub-add-ons, as you can see. I have Bagnon, but there are also multiple add-ons that you can get inside of it. One is Bagnon BOE, which, for example, it shows up all of these BOEs. It automatically tells me that it is without even having to hover over it. And then also Bagnon item level automatically shows the item level. So whenever I'm doing transmog runs and I will need to sell off the soulbind gear, I can automatically tell the difference because I won't have to see, oh, is this a BOE? Oh, is this bound to me? Because everything that is a BOE, it shows it up. It just says it right here, and I don't have to worry about hovering over it. Now, there's also Bagnon Scrap, which basically you can mark items to automatically be sold, and it comes up with a little coin. And basically what this does is that it automatically sells the item whenever you open a vendor. But we will talk about that later. And also, you can create your guild bank to be one big bag, as well as your normal bank to be one big bag by using the guild bank add-on. Monkey Speed is the next add-on. It is this little frame right here. Basically, it just tells you what your max speed is and how fast you are going right now. For example, as you can see, I am going 146% speed. If I mount up, I hit 342. Let's say if I go up a little bit, then I only go 337, and so basically I get to see my speed. Now, this isn't very necessary technically, but when using speed sets and trying to figure out what gear creates the fastest speed, this helps just visualize it, and you can also tell what type of form gives you the fastest speed. For example, if I walk like this, I have 246%, and if I go into cat mode, then I am only 176%. However, if I use my fast one, I am at 236%, which is almost as fast as me being mounted up. So it just helps you visualize how fast you're really going, so you can maximize your time getting around. Alright, so now we are going to be moving over to add-ons that will help you if you are a crafter. Now, the first big one is, it's called Quartz. Now, normally Quartz is a casting bar add-on. As you can see, if I mount up, it creates this bar right here. It tells me that I have 1.5 seconds in order to mount up. Basically, it is just a normal casting bar. However, using it with crafting, it tells you how long it will take to craft something. For example, if I want to make 84 shrouded cloth bags, I can hit craft all and it tells me that it will take 2 minutes and 48 seconds to craft this. So, I could set a timer on my phone, leave for 2 minutes and 48 seconds, and come back and everything will be crafted. I really enjoyed this add-on because during crafting inks and crafting 2,000 pigments or something like that, or milling a lot of herbs, or just smelting ores, it will take a long time, and I like knowing that it's 37 minutes on the dot, so then I can leave for 37 minutes and come back and I know it's finished and I'm not guessing around or trying to figure out multiply stuff, trying to figure out how long it's actually going to take. It will just tell me straight there. So that is quartz, and of course it's good for combat and other areas of the game. However, for crafting, it is also very, very helpful. Now, I talked about this add-on whenever we were talking about Bagnon. However, the add-on is called Scrap or Peddler. There are two versions of this. Scrap is really nice with Bagnon because you can actually see icons show up. For example, as you can see, the little coins show up. Or you can use Peddler, which basically does the same thing, so it's up to you. I use both, but it is completely up to you. They are both automatic vendor selling items. So to show this off, I will craft a few Tide Spray linen pants. Now, what you can't see is that I actually have these set onto my Peddler, which basically I've marked them as junk. And so junk means that whenever I open up my vendor tab, they will automatically be sold, and white items will automatically be sold, and anything marked as junk will be sold without me having to click anything. Now, this speeds up the process a lot, definitely when you are vendor shuffling, or even when you are transmog farming, because you can mark all the potions and food as scrap and junk, and it'll automatically sell it. So, as you can see, I have some crafted. I open up the menu and it automatically sells. And it tells me everything it sold as well as for the total price. So I sold everything for 332 gold, and since I exited before, sold it for 486. So yeah. Basically, it'll tell me everything that I've sold, how much I have made off of it, and it just increases your time a lot. Now, Buy 'em All is the next add-on, and it basically says what exactly the add-on is called. Whenever you go into a vendor menu, you can shift-click on an item, and then you can automatically type the exact price you need. So you can say, I want a stack, and it'll automatically stack in your inventory. As you can see, I have 49 thread right here, so to make it a stack, if I purchase this, it'll automatically stack it up. I can also choose to hit max and it'll automatically fill my inventory. Whatever open spots I have, it will fill it. So I can get 10k nylon thread for about 500 gold, 5,000 gold. And you can do this with anything. Now the good thing is you can also type, let's say I need 540. Then I just hit OK and it says, are you sure? You hit yes and it automatically buys them and puts them into your inventory. So this really helps whenever you are vendor shuffling or trying to buy a massive product. You don't have to click here and click and then hit max, blah, blah, blah. You can just do it all in one go. The last thing we are going to be talking about is Executive Assistant. That is this thing right here. And basically it is a checklist within WoW. Now, to actually set it up, you can go into your settings, and you can go through here, task management, and you can basically type in what tasks you want to do each day. For example, I have a reminder that I need to craft my daily Sky Golem, my Sky Golem cooldown. So that is that. And so let's say I go onto my engineer and I craft it, I can click on it and it will disappear. So I remember that I have done it. Then for blacksmithing, I have to remember that I have to do my gladiator armor. So once I do that, I click it and it goes away. Same, if I craft my daily thing of Hexweave, click on it and it goes away. And then it's basically just saying that I need to check my other realms and repost it. So I have my 2 other realms. And at the end of the day, it will just turn into a little box knowing that you've completed everything. So, to people who have multiple realms, multiple cooldowns, multiple characters, whatever you like to accomplish in a day, I think this really helps setting reminders and just make sure you stay on track. So, maybe you have 5 realms that you always want to check. You can put those on the assistant, and whenever you do it, you can just check it and say, okay, I've done that for the day. Then later, you can be like, look back and say, oh, I have to go do this realm. So you log off, complete it, come back, and check it off. So basically, it's just a virtual to-do list on WoW itself. So yeah, that is my list of add-ons that I really like to use for gold making in Shadowlands. And the last section of this video is going to be about items and speed sets. Alright, so now discussing items that I like to use during gold making there's not a lot of them, however, they are very helpful. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is Potion of Treasure Finding. Now this potion basically allows you to kill things either in Mount Hyjal, Vashtir, Deepholm, Uldum, or Twilight Highlands, and they will drop treasure chest. Now this is basically all of the big cataclysm zones, and these farms consist like salvage leather farms, volatile farms, elemental farms, stuff like that. These drop treasure chest. Now the treasure chest can contain random things. They can contain BOEs. They can contain pyrite ore. You can get elementium ore. You can get all 5 types of volatiles, so water, fire, earth, life, air. You can get ember silk cloth, and you can just get raw gold, and you can just basically get anything from Cataclysm to drop. Now the good thing about this is basically extra gold and resources per hour depending on the farm you're doing. For example, if you were doing the Savage Leather farm, as you kill the crocodiles, they can drop these, and so you can start getting volatiles, or you can start getting cloth, or you can get extra BOEs, which you can either sell for raw gold, or you can post on the auction house and see if you can sell. So sometimes they can be pricey. Currently on my realm, they go for about 500 gold, but they last 1 hour, so basically one farm will cost 1 potion of treasure finding, but the value you get out of the potion is completely worth it. As you can see, I farmed using one for 30 minutes, and I got basically 10 of each volatile, and just with the fire and water alone, I'm making 900 gold, so almost double the potion's worth, not including the BOEs, not including the ore, not including the other volatiles, the raw gold, anything else that came out of the treasure chest. So, if you are farming Cataclysm farms and you are not using this potion, definitely pick some up on the auction house. The second item we're going to be talking about is Darkmoon Firewater. Now, what this does is basically whenever you're mining, herbing, or skinning, you do it faster. Now, I'm sorry, I do not know the exact speed. It might be twice as fast. However, it will increase your rates really drastically. Now, these things are normally pretty cheap, about 100 gold each, and once again, they last an hour. And during the Darkmoon Fair, you can pick them up for even cheaper. Basically, every time the Darkmoon Fair is around, you can fish these out of the ponds and out of the crates that you get within the Darkmoon Fair, and that's how people get these firewaters. So, normally when the fair is actually active, the potions are a lot cheaper than when it's not active. So if you're worried about cost, definitely at the start of each month, look to stockpile on these potions. The third item we're going to be talking about is these scrolls and the keys of unlockings. Now, if you watched the previous part of the video talking about the classes, I said that the rogue is really good for opening chests unless you have inscription or jewel making on your druid. For example, these scrolls of unlocking, as you can see, will open the locks that require up to level 50 lockpicking to open. Now, definitely the old transmog, they they are very low skill, and so these scrolls will unlock them. However, as you can see, it requires inscription to use, so only scribes or only jewelry crafting with the keys can actually use these. However, they are super useful. These are really cheap. They cost 3 gold on the auction house, and actually you can craft them yourself. As you can see, the crafting cost is about 2 gold, and you use one for every chest you open. Now, the good thing is mostly when you're running the transmog dungeons, the chests are actually what hold the big ticket items. For example, Razorfin Downs. I run that on my rogue all the time, and the star belt pattern can actually drop from the chest, and it sells for about 200k. So, you would have to open a chest 100,000 times before you basically don't make profit from buying these and using them on chest. So definitely, if you're a druid or whatever you run dungeons with is is a scribe or a jewelry crafter or a blacksmith or basically anything that has this type of item that unlocks locks, definitely craft it, buy it, whatever you need to do, and use these during your dungeon runs. Alright, so the next thing we're going to be talking about is speed sets. Now, speed sets are basically just pieces of gear that give you speed in order to increase your overall player movement speed so you can do dungeons faster, etc. As you can see, I have a few pieces on this character. I see plus 10. I have plus 7 on this gear. Plus 9, plus 7. I have the plus 3% movement speed gem. Stuff like that. So this is not going to be the best speed set because normally it is pretty expensive and it also requires some grinding in order to get the pieces. However, if you have an ult that is a druid, this is a very good way to get a cheap speed set, and this is how I go about it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is pick up benthic gear, which is from BFA. Now, you specifically want the shoulders and the chest plate for druids. Now, I'm going to be targeting druids for this. However, you can do the same thing with every single character. You just have to do some research. Now, the reason why you want these is because Long Strider is a stat that is guaranteed. As you can see, it says increases your movement speed by 21% of your highest secondary rating up to 6%. Now, both of these have this, so that is giving almost a 12% movement speed bonus if you can get the highest possible rating. So you definitely want to pick these pieces up and equip them to get the extra movement speed. The second item you will want to look into is buying one of the BFA rings. The quartz one is really good for druids because it has critical strike versatility, but it really doesn't matter as long as it has a socket. Then you will want to put in the straddling verdium. Sorry, I do not know how to pronounce it. Look, it's 30 gold on my server, and it basically automatically gives you plus 3% movement speed. So, if you can get that benthic gear up to its max rating, as well as that plus 3%, then you already have 15% more movement speed. Now, to get the extra pieces of speed, you will want to pull up the Undermine Journal. Now, what the Undermine Journal is, if you have not used it already, is a website which you will want to go onto and pick your realm and your region. For example, US, and then I pick my main realm, and it will automatically basically pick everything, and it has all my info about my realm, all of my materials, how much it costs, etc. So, you will want to go to the minor stats category, and the first thing that will come up is speed. Now, since we are a druid, we will want to look at speed leather. As you can see, there are currently 2 boots, a pair of pants, as well as another pair of boots that are on sale. Now, this boots right here, as you can see, this is actually current content. It is item level 200, so this is actually a BOE that dropped from one of the raids or a high mythic, which is why it is priced at 65,000 gold. However, these older pieces of gear that require either level 50 or level 40, they are a lot cheaper and more affordable, definitely when this is your alt character. For example, this is just my druid that is level 50, which I use him to go through transmog dungeons. I use him to mine herbs, so I'm not really worried about killing things, so I'm not worried about the item level. So you can definitely look into the cheaper gear. So if we want to look into these legs, we're just going to look up the Ice Pine breeches. So go onto the auction house, look up Ice Pine breeches, and this comes up. Now when you hover over it, as you can see, you do not see the speed stat. That is because, as you can see, it says items in this group may vary in stats and appearance. Check the auction house tooltip before buying, which basically is saying make sure you click on it and then actually hover over it to see. And as you can see, if you hover over it now, it says that it has plus 12 speed, which it did not say that before. Now, the reason by this is because speed is basically a substat. So some of these breeches may not have it. So if there are multiple posted, this one might be the only one with speed. So you have to click and actually look. Now, if we actually go to my character, I do not have speed on my pants yet. So I'm actually going to buy this up. Now we can look real quick on this. So this is the Depraved Darkblade Treads. So I'm gonna look it up. Alright, there is a lot of them. Here we go. So as you can see, there are a lot of them. However, the Undermine Journal says it is actually set for 666 gold. So if we click onto this, hover over it, there you go. Now it says this gives plus 16 speed. However, my character cannot equip this because I am not level 60. However, if you have an alt that is level 60, definitely buy this up and put it on. It is definitely worth it, and only for less than 1,000 gold, you're getting plus 16 speed, which is really, really good. But after buying everything, you'll just equip it, and there we go. If we go to normal walking speed, as you can see, this is the monkey speed add-on. Without the pants equipped, I go 146.1%. However, if I equip them, I go up by 0.9%. And you can also look here to see the speed. I am at 17%, and I put them on, and now I'm at 19%. So that little boost in speed has already made me faster, and now I can complete my dungeons way, way faster. So yeah, that's how I go about making my cheap speed sets. Now, of course, if you are actually level 60, you can start using Shadowlands materials and Shadowlands armor, and for this specific gym, it says the speed is increased for 5. For each Shadowlands gym, you have socketed. So if you are level 60, I would try to get as many slot gears as you can. You could just look up gear that have sockets, and then you want to make sure you have this gym, and then just fill it with other random gems. You can increase your critical strike, you can increase your haste, do whatever, and so each gem you have, you will increase your speed by 5. So this is also a very, very good route to go if you are level 60 and have access to Shadowlands gear and armor. Currently, my druid is only level 50, so I do this cheaper method. However, they are both very, very good. You can combine both of them and basically just make your own personal speed set. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped. It went over classes, add-ons, items, and even how to make a speed set, which are all great things to know, definitely when you're going into gold making. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comment below. Be sure to join the Discord so we can discuss anything that you might have, as well as share your awesome gold making screenshots. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a good day.